Hi Flosstube, welcome to this video. My name is Anna and I'm here to talk about cross stitch. Today is Saturday, July 2nd, and it is the beginning of a long weekend for us for Independence Day here in the US. Typically, or I guess in years past, the 4th of July is all about spending time with family or friends, and people usually spend the whole weekend outside, like picnics or barbecue or just going to the pool or the lake or just enjoying the summer. This year we are home. I mean, we've been home for the last few years because of COVID and things, but this year we are staying home this weekend, and part of that is because we just finished a long few months of a lot of travel, going to a lot of weddings, and we were just home, visiting my family in Kansas last weekend. My mom and my aunt threw us a baby shower at my grandma's house. It was really nice. Some of my husband's family were able to be there, and I had cousins there, and mostly family. And then we were able to get in the pool afterwards, so it kind of felt like a 4th of July celebration. So this year, or this weekend, being at home, it doesn't feel like we're missing out on too much. My husband and I are planning on cooking out and having a good mix of, rest and productivity, and we are finally done traveling for the foreseeable future. It's also nice to be home for the 4th of July because people typically light off fireworks, or even cities will host like big fireworks shows, and our dogs do not do well with that. So it's nice to be home to give them some anti-anxiety medicine and put on they have one of them has a thunder shirt and one of them has a sweater that we put on them, and it just makes them feel like they're being held. So we put their thunder shirts on, and we'll probably be down in the basement watching a movie or turning on music or something during the actual fireworks, just to comfort them. So it's nice to be home to be able to give them that kind of comfort. So anyway, I'm in my new space. This is my new office. It's also where I'm storing all of my craft supplies, and I also have I'm looking over here I have like an industrial looking wire rack with grow lights on it. It's where I overwintered my plants in this room, and I still have a few things on the shelves there. So that's where most of the light is coming from. I'm down in the basement. I have one little window here, but it's very deep in a window well, so there really isn't very much light there. So hopefully the grow lights and my desk light are providing better lighting than the various places I've tried to record this in the past. And I am fully moved out of what will be the baby's room. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with me. Bit of a life update, our plans for the weekend. So now I will get into the stitching 4 minutes in. I'm sorry about that. I am a little unorganized today, but hopefully I can just get through it. And I don't have much of an update other than cross stitch. I was thinking of doing a garden update, but there's just too many weeds. You can't even really see what's out there in photos or video. So anyway, let's do the cross stitch now. First, I'll show you guys my FFO, my fully finished object. I talked about the actual cross stitch a lot in my last video, so I won't get into too much detail. But I framed the hair it's a kit from Marishka. Let's see. Try to do it without the glare. So I got this frame at Michael's. Over Memorial Day weekend, they were having sale, various stores are having lots of sales. So this frame was already on the cheaper end, and then it was like 50% off. So I bought 6 of them. I knew I wanted 2 for the hare and the squirrel, but I have a bunch of the other kits. So I just went ahead and bought all of them that I might need, and I can use them for something else if I don't get to those kits. But anyway, it was a good deal. So I picked up this frame and I laced it myself. I watched a few tutorials on lacing. I used, I don't think I have it right here, but I bought a bunch of pearl cotton. I had an estate sale a while back, and I don't have a lot of use for it. So I used just pearl cotton to do the lacing, and I did what Sarah, the stitching mommy, does with some of her frames, where I bought the frame and it had a mat in here to put a smaller photo inside, and so I just used the mat as the mat board as what I laced the piece around. So that's how I did that, and it looks great. It's ready to be up on the wall as soon as we get other furniture and decorations into the baby's room. We can get this up. So I'm really happy about this. It's my second FFO. You know, I have one project bag that I made, and this is the first like real framing I've done. I'll show you some small, like the Prairie Year smalls I have count, but it's not quite the same. So anyway, I'm proud of myself for doing this. It's pretty straight, and I think it looks great. And it's going to go great with our theme in the nursery. So that's that. There's a lot of glitter on there. Okay, other than framing that, I also finished one of my Prairie Years. I now have 17 of these finished, and I have 3 left. So I'm pretty confident I can finish them this year. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself to finish them like this month or anything like that, but I'm just going to keep trucking on them, and I think I can finish them this year. So this is one of the July patterns from the Prairie Year. I have 1 and 2 of those. And this one, I really like how it turned out. The only change I made was it called for white thread, and because it's on white Aida, 14 count Aida, I didn't want to stitch white on white, so I put in this silver Kreinik around the border, and then there's a few like stars through here. That's the only change I made though. The rest of the colors were called for. This stuff, I used this on a snowflake for January, and it was great for that. It's a little bulky for this border here, and it's really scratchy to work with. It's not the most pleasant stuff, but overall I like how it turned out, and I'm glad that I used it. So this, I used, it's number 8 braid Kreinik in the color 1. Yeah, so that's a finish, and that's going to go in my frame with, I have my box here. I need to lace it. I've got several I need to lace now, but it will go with the other one I have for July in here somewhere, this one. So these will be in a frame together, or 2 matching frames next to each other. So they're a little bit different from each other, but I think that that's fine. So I'll put it in this box once I get it laced, and then I can put it in a frame. I right now have June in a frame. I just got 1 June, and you can see I use this Prairie Year set to practice lacing because I knew I'd like to do my own framing. So that's from June, and I'll trade them out for July. At least the one that's done I'll put in there. And then we'll see when I get around to lacing this new finish when I can get it in to its frame. Okay, so in addition to that, I also have a new start, which I'll show you. I put it in this project bag that I made. These project bags were fun to make, but they're all a little wonky. So my new start for June is Blackbird's design. It's called Salute to Abigail. It's from the Sweet Land of Liberty book. And it's this one up here. Let's see if I can pull the bigger picture. So this is what it looks like. It calls for silks. I decided to change out the colors. And my goal for this start was to get far enough along that I could try each of the colors that I was substituting just to make sure that I liked them. And I really like how it's going. So this is how far I got on my start. This is on 36 count Nantucket Brew by R&R Productions. I don't think it's what was called for. I think it called for something darker. But I liked that this had more of a gray tone to it. And that's how far I got. So the colors that I went with Weeks Dye Works because I wanted to try something different. For the dark blue, let's see. Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. My little dog, Theodore, the Pomeranian, has a pretty bad cough, and he's right outside the office door, and he's just like hacking out there. He has an appointment with the vet, and we've been talking on the phone about it, but anyway, hoping that it's nothing too serious and something treatable, but he's also 13 years old, so we'll see what the vet says. Anyway, so I decided to use Weeks Dye Works instead of the silks for this. For the dark blue, it's called Americana. The red is Turkish Red, which looks like this. The most variegated one is the light blue. It's called Union Blue. And then the white is White Lightning, which really, I wish there was more white in it than gray. I like that it changes colors. It's just, you can see on the bobbin here that there's a lot of off-white and not very much white. But I think it'll be fine. It's showing up down here. Okay. There's not too much white in it. I started out doing this 1/1 and I did not like the coverage. I don't know. It's 36 count, so I thought 1/1 would be sufficient, but I don't know if Weeks Dye Works is just thinner or if I was just, overestimating how small 36 count is, but I ended up doing it did I say 1/1? I meant 1/2 on 36 count. What I ended up doing was tearing that out and doing 2/2, so 2 strands of floss. For colors like this one that don't have a lot of variation, I just double up my strand and stitch that way. But for ones like this, you don't want to double your strand. You want the variegation to show. So I just pulled 2 shorter lengths and stitch them together. And I like how that's going. So this is really enjoyable. I like working with Weeks Dye Works. It's been a fun change. And the 36 count, it has been fine as long as I have my book light on it. It's been fine to stitch on that smaller count, and it makes me more confident to do smaller counts for other projects if that's the look I'm going for. So anyway, that's my start. I don't know if I'll put this away yet because it's still very patriotic, and I'll probably work on it this weekend, but it is a pretty good start for me. Yeah, that was Salute to Abigail. One other thing I did this month is I finally put together a spreadsheet with my WIPs, my works in progress in it, so that I can just copy and paste the descriptions into the description box with a link to where I think you can find the patterns. It's not necessarily where I got them, but where I found them recently. Before I was trying to type it out, or I would just not get around to it, and now I can just copy and paste. So that was an accomplishment for me to get organized and have the information for my WIPs down in the description box. Okay, I worked on 2 other projects this month. One of them was Birds and Berries by the Prairie Schooler. This is not one of the cardstock ones. This is one of the reprint ones. I've already finished the Blackbird and I'm working on the Chickadee. I did not finish it, but it's pretty close, so I'll probably leave this one out in July too. So this is where I got to. So the only change I made on this is that it's designed to be a black-capped chickadee, and I just added like a brow white on the brow to make it a mountain chickadee. So, yep, I just have, you can see some more of the wing, and then I've got to finish this branch, and there's just like 3 leaves and a berry, or 2 berries maybe down here. So there's really not much to go, and I think that I can finish this in July without too much pressure on myself. This is stitched on 32 count. I think it's natural linen, and then just all the called for colors, 2 strands of floss. So pretty close to a finish on this one, and it's enjoyable to work on. I just like linen, and DMC is nice to work with. I mean, trying Weeks Dye Works is fun, but DMC is just, it's so pretty on its own. You really don't need to do fancy flosses. DMC will work just fine. Okay, the last whip I have that I worked on since my last video is Spirit of Christmas by Lavender and Lace. Here's the little photo that comes with it. This one, let's see. I'm gonna unroll it and take the needle minder off. Let's see if I can hold it up. Okay. This is where I got to. It's just so good. The reds are so rich in this one, and the way that it's charted just makes the ribbon look so shiny and like satiny, and it's really neat to see it come together. So my loose goal was to finish this bow, and it turned out to be a lot bigger than I was imagining, but I still got through the whole bow. There was some more green, like a lighter green over on this side of this, I guess, wreath that needed to be filled in, and then I filled in all the greens and berries at the top here, and then all of these colors kind of carried in over to this side. But that's officially over halfway on this big wreath. I mean, I've still got the flames on these candles, and then there's more wreath down here. But as far as the big top goes, that is officially over halfway. So I think that next time I pull this out, I will go back to working more on Santa. But yeah, this is on 32 count. It's a Witcholt. And I think that I always struggle with this one because I think what I wrote down I think I ordered navy, and what came was not navy. It was like Blue Moon or just blue or something like that. And so now I'm not sure what the exact color is, but I am happy with the color for this Santa. I think that everything's showing up a lot better than on the preview, which is like a natural color. But yeah, I'm really happy with my progress on that. It's fun to work on. It's the only lavender and lace I've worked on, but it's almost entirely full crosses. The only like partial fractional stitches are in these like little candles, so it seems really simple. There are no beads. There is some Kreinik, or I can't remember what exactly it is that's called for in this, but there's just a little bit on his hat, and then he's holding like a star. So as far as lavender and lace goes, it seems like this is a pretty straightforward one. There are some blends, but really not that many. So anyway, that's my progress on that. I'm really happy with it, getting through that bow. It's just enjoyable to work on. Okay, so that was all of my progress in June. My plans for July, I mentioned before that we are expecting our first baby, and the due date is August 1st, so things are progressing and we have no more travel plans. We have a lot of classes that we're signed up for, like infant CPR, infant care, that sort of thing. So some of our evenings and weekends are a bit full, but not nearly as full as they would be otherwise. July is prime hiking and camping season, and we're not doing that this year. I think when people go camping, there's like a very wide spectrum of what they're talking about. Some people will take like a camper, like a vehicle with like a shower and a bed and air conditioning and stuff, which is fine. That counts as camping, whatever. When we go camping, we typically backpack our tent and all of our food and water into a forest, and we set up camp there and then camp overnight. And then we'll get up in the morning and we'll do like a longer hike with our day packs and then come back and tear down camp. So that style of camping is not going to happen for a while. Probably not at all this season. Maybe next year. Maybe next year we'll get back into actual camping. But anyway, I'll be at home a lot, and I'll be resting a lot. These days when I rest, sometimes I'm too tired to even cross stitch, but I can cross stitch sometimes. So my plans for July, I have one whip that I started in July of, let's see, this one I started in July of 2019, and it is Horn of Plenty, and I don't know, yep, I have the magazine in here. So it's a cover photo from this magazine. Let's see. So that's what it looks like. And since I have it out, I'll just show you real quick where I'm at. It's pretty wrinkly. And I've got a thread hanging. But that's how far I am so far. So I'm basically doing an object, a piece of food, and then all the stitches around it, and then I'm backstitching that. So this is the only one that I'm actually planning to bring out because I started it in July 3 years ago. So I'm definitely going to work on that. I'm also going to work on one of the Prairie Years that I have left to do. I'll probably work on August. And this is where I'm at on that. It's got like a beehive and then bees. So I haven't made very much progress yet, but this is the one that I'll pull out for Prairie Year. And really, I just have 3 left, so I feel like it's doable if I just buckle down and work on it. And that 14 count Ada is probably gonna be pretty nice the next couple months. The only other one that I'm eager to pull out for July is one of my full coverage projects because I didn't work on it at all last month, and that's Fright Night. I do miss my Heaven and Earth Designs project, the mini bird song, because it's so bright and colorful, but this one is turning 4 years old this year, so I'd like to see more progress on it, but this is where I'm at on it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to finish this diagonal or if I'm going to mix it up and try a different style of stitching. Maybe that's why I didn't pull it out, because I'm tired of this method. But we'll see. So those are the 3 projects I'm planning to pull out, and if I get tired of them, then I'll just go to my my cabinet now of cross stitch and pull something else out. So that's all I have for you guys today. I thought about doing a garden update, but there are just so many weeds. I need to get out there and pull the weeds. They're starting to, like, my cucumber plants are starting to grow on the weeds. That's how tall and strong the weeds are. So I need to get out there and pull the weeds out and then pin my cucumber plants to the thing they're supposed to be growing on. I've already harvested about 2 pounds of zucchini and yellow squash, which is exciting. Yeah, otherwise I'm just growing a lot of the same stuff that I grew last year. So having irrigation this year has made it possible for me to have a vegetable garden. You know, I watered by hand last year and it just would not happen this year. I haven't even been out there to like trim my tomato plants that are just out of control. They're producing way too many leaves and not enough fruit, so I need to go out there and trim those. Things like that just need to be done, and they're not getting done. And that's okay this year. I am still getting fruit out of everything. But yeah, no garden update pictures this time. And then same thing with the nursery. I kind of wanted to share some more stuff about the baby room for you guys, especially because there's just so much stuff coming into the house for the baby. But it's all just in a pile in that room. So if I come back at the end of the month, which we'll see what life brings, hopefully that stuff will be ready and I can give you guys an update about it. I might come back in a couple weeks if I have anything to show, just to have some update. But again, we'll just see what happens. And, you know, we're in a place, or I'm in a place right now where just trying to relax and create a peaceful, calm environment, which is exactly opposite of what happens with my job in July. The end of July, or July and the end of July are the most stressful, busiest time of the entire year for my job. So it's when I'm not working, trying very hard to be relaxed and take time for myself and just remember that almost everything can get pushed to a later time. Like, we don't need to do a lot of the stuff that we typically do. The house does not need to be clean. Like, even in this room, there's more organizing for me to do. I really don't like open shelving, and so having all this stuff behind me here makes me a little crazy. I'm trying to put it into like matching boxes and things so it looks nice, but it's still a little busy and I still have things to move in to these open shelves, but it's not pressing. That stuff will get done and it's fine. So anyway, cross stitch is helping me with that. Just sit down and do some cross stitch and relax. And yeah, I hope that everybody is having a great summer. I cannot talk about politics anymore on this channel because it's too much. So I'm just forgetting any of that is going on right now. And again, just trying to make it relaxing for me and for everybody else. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry, I'm just like drifting off here in the last few minutes, but that's how things are lately. So anyway, happy stitching. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Bye.